every Monday, I will be bringing you a short 10-minute training at noon, which coincidentally is the time right now. So I've seen a lot of talk about scar tissue over the last few weeks, and it's all sort of coming full circle. So I thought, well, why not talk about it here? Because one new topic gets brought up, and then everyone asks the same questions, right? And it kind of spurs conversation, which is great, but obviously it's on a lot of people's minds. So for those of you who are new to microcurrent, so if you've never really studied with us before, so I guess new to microcurrent or new to microcurrent from our lens through the Hache protocol, rule number one of microcurrent is to treat all scars. Now, scar tissue responds to a specific frequency. And we learned this from chats with the original Russian scanner inventors decades ago. It was before my time, really. 77 hertz is what we need to treat scar tissue. You will notice that the Genesis, the Evolution, and the Pro Sport are all capable of this treatment. These devices have been created with that in mind. The thought being that if we create a device that cannot treat scar tissue, then we cannot heal the whole body, right? Now, another important thing that I think has kind of blown me away recently is we've got a lot of newbies in the group that have come over from other equipment that has the same frequency, but does not have the voltage required to push the frequency deep enough to clear the scar tissue for internal scar tissue. And the big deal with this, guys, is that if you don't get deep enough, how can you fix the tissue, right? I mean, if you have surgery, then you're going in deep. And whether it's laparoscopic or not, there is still scar tissue created, right? Your laparoscopic surgery, they go in, they snip what they need to snip, even for like something as big as a hysterectomy that they do that way. But then they have to cauterize the area to stop the bleeding. So in effect, they're creating scar tissue anyway. It's just you don't have an external scar. So when you're dealing with these scar tissue things, you need to be able to get deep enough to fix the problem. And that is something that the high voltage component of our devices fixes. That doesn't mean it's going to hurt. It just means that it's going to get in deep. But I made that statement, right? That if we cannot treat scar tissue, we cannot heal the whole body. So I'm going to kind of rewind for a little bit there, because I've been told before that that is a bold statement, right? Scar tissue can be painful or it can be painless, but it is one of the biggest hindrances to our ability to heal. And yes, that scar from when you fell out of a tree as a kid that hasn't caused you any problems for 40 years can start causing problems now. So, I've heard that too, right? It's like, well, yeah, I've had that scar forever, but it's never caused any problems. Communication breakdown is not always instantaneous, but it is always going to lead to a chronic problem. So why is this scar thing a problem, right? Well, our bodies are electrical. Electrical currents pass through them, carrying commands that keep us alive and functioning. And while our regular tissue is conductive and allows these commands to sort of zip on through, scar tissue acts as a capacitor, slowing them down, sometimes even completely blocking communication. I've had this issue recently because my phone's been playing up, but if you think about it like being on the phone when you have a bad signal, you might hear like maybe 60 or 70% of what the other person is saying, and you kind of have to piece together the rest. Honestly, I even find that missing the odd word when talking to someone can be crucial, and it will totally change the message of the conversation. This is what scar tissue does to our body, guys. It slows down the messages and it changes the messages received. So that message that your brain sent to say, turn off inflammation in your knee after surgery, well, if it doesn't come through exactly right, maybe that inflammation never gets turned off. But if we're not telling the brain, hey, it didn't work, I didn't get the message, it thinks it's done, it sent the message. If you leave me a garbled voicemail, you think you've left me a voicemail, I can't understand it, I don't know what you're saying. There is a communication breakdown, and then nothing is really ever going to be able to be fixed, right? This is the birthplace of chronic pain. Microcurrent neutralizes this communication blockage. It restores the conductivity of the tissue to allow the body to talk to itself properly again. And this brings with it signals that allow you to heal your whole self. It is crucial, critical, absolutely necessary to treat scars in order to become pain-free. Now, these trainings are not meant to be long and in-depth. I'm not going to keep you forever, but I want to talk about one more important thing about scars, and then I will let you go, because this has been a big conversation topic recently, right? What counts as a scar? Everyone here, whether you have been living in a bubble your entire life since you were born, and you say, I've never gotten injured, I can't ever have scars, everyone has at least one scar given to them fairly quickly after birth. And this is your belly button. This is your first scar. So even if you've never gotten injured, you've never broken a bone, you've never gotten in a car accident, you've never gotten scratched deep by a cat, then you have a scar still. Treat this today for just 3 minutes with 77 hertz. That is all it takes to make potentially huge difference. Now, other scar tissue types you may not think about, much of which has been brought up in some of these discussions recently. Circumcisions, piercings, tattoos, adhesions, episiotomy scars all go forgotten when it comes to scar tissue treatment. Others might be muscle tears and injuries such as whiplash and fractures. As I mentioned, falling out of that tree 20 years ago and breaking your arm, right? So start to do the math there. Think about just how much scar tissue is keeping you held together. And then think about just how crucial it might be to restore communication. As we always say, and you're going to get tired of us saying this, your body is meant to heal. It was designed to heal. Ever since you were a kid, you fall, you get scratched, you heal. You get sick, you heal. So why all of a sudden is your body not healing? Communication is and always will be key. Fix communication and get started on your journey to a pain-free life. Now, for those of you who are members of the Hache Protocol private membership, I'm just going to drop a little thing in here to say that I'm going to be doing a crash course today at 4 p.m. Pacific time, which is in about 3 hours and 50 minutes, on how to treat diabetes with microcurrent therapy. This 45-minute to 1 hour course will cover everything you need to know about how to tackle this condition. Otherwise, if you have any questions about scar tissue or anything we've talked about today, drop those in the comments below and I will answer them as soon as possible. Now, I'll see you next week for a 10-minute training. And remember, if you want to share this video with other people that you haven't seen that aren't in this group, invite them to the group. Everyone has the ability to invite someone. Invite them. Let them know you've invited them. Say, you got to check out this video. Scar tissue is totally ruining your life and you need to fix this now. Everyone needs to be aware of this. This is my public service announcement for 2021, guys. Rule number 1, treat your scar tissue and you will be on the path to resolving your chronic pain. Thank you, everyone, and I will see you next week for another 10-minute training. Take care.